looking back, do you still find joy and fulfillment in the choice that you made?
I don't think I will leave this town planning. It's one of the joys that I have, like dealing with the IDP, your integrated development plan, and then you deal with the SDF, your spatial development framework, right? That is your guide in terms of how the city is running. So living this is like a dream, and just to see my other colleagues as well in the different departments, different directorates, the way are they planning to make the city grow. It is like, it's amazing. So yeah, I don't think I will leave this industry for quite some time.
Good day and welcome to another episode of the Success in Color podcast. I am your host, Mishay Meyer, and today I have another wonderful guest with me. He's going to introduce himself, and I'll be handing over to you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Clayton Otto. Yeah, I'm excited for this podcast, and I believe that I can share my story to the audience out there.
Awesome. So, can you tell us what your job title is, and also where you are from?
Okay, so I'm born and raised in Mitchell's Plain. Proud of that. And yes, I my job title is a town planner. I'm still in the beginning stages of it, as I finished my studies like 2 years ago. But yeah, that's my job title.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So, as a town planner, what does a typical day look like for you? What's your schedule?
Yes. The schedule of a town planner is, you can have a schedule, right? But then when you busy with the interaction of doing your day to day, it really speaks upon dealing with the public, dealing with your politicians, and dealing with your internal functions within your departments. And that is also depending on where, in what position you are in the town planner, because town planner is very broad. So you can have a environmental planner, you can have a spatial planner, you can have a planner that deals with projects within the municipality and also with your private sector. But it just varies in terms of where you're at, but just the hierarchy of it. You can deal with the politician, you can deal with the public, and you can deal with your internal functions and external. Yeah.
Okay, so you say that you are in the beginning stages, but at what level are you at? Because and you mentioned different categories. So which category do you fall in? And as you mentioned that category, how does your day look in your own space as a town planner?
Yeah. So where I'm at now currently, I'm a graduate intern,
Okay.
right? So my day to day is okay. Yeah, from my experience and also currently is also dealing with your internal departments, whether it's water, whether it's land use, all the other departments has that the city is so many. But then also you deal with your external stakeholders, right? So your external stakeholders can be your service provider. Another word is consultancy or consultant. But they are basically also just doing the, depending on what is the job allocation, they do the work, right? So that's a tender process, etc., etc. And in past experience, you are part of um, meetings with your directors, um, being exposure to your local municipality as well as your provincial and national, and that is you must know what you're talking about, etc. So I like to say I'm a future town planner. I see the city in the next 10 or 20 years, and to be part of that, takes a lot of dedication. You need to read upon your bylaws, your policies. It varies, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can speak on, but
I can tell, which is amazing because I mean, the more information, the better. But thank you so much for sharing that with us. So, with regards to students who are wanting to pursue this career, right? Which subjects in high school would you say they should prioritize when they choose their subjects?
yes, when a learner is in high school, um, the subjects must, I won't say must, but there's a variety, right? So you can either have geography, you can either have EGD, right? That is drawings. You can have business studies as well. But obviously your mains is gonna be like your English, etc. However, your subject must be high in terms of going into that um, university. So yeah, that's one of your mains is
Okay, so when you say the subject must be high, you mean like you have to have a good
yes,
pass grade for the.
yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So basically, no specific subjects, but I got ECT, geography, business studies, etc. Are those the ones that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that as well. Then after high school, so what we usually discuss is that there's usually a specific institution, that we would recommend or that you could recommend to students for a specific career. So for town planning, which institution would you say is the best institution in terms of studying town planning?
Um, I would say because I don't think colleges do this. But you're looking at your CPUT, you're looking at Stellenbosch, and you're looking also at UCT. I'm not sure about UWC, um, but also with that, it also depends what town planner you want to be.
Okay.
Um, CPUT in my 4 year or say 5 year journey, it deals with mostly policy and law from the early ages to do that. If you want to be a more environmental planner, I think Stellenbosch would be the one for you. And then also UCT also focus on town planning, but in terms of from what I've engaged with masters within that environment of yeah, a master. So yeah, let me just rephrase my words. When the student obtains a master degree in UCT, they tend to say, like a CPUT learner knows about a lot of things. But yeah, so that is the area in which I can say in terms of what a learner can do
Which is
after.
great. It's great because at least it helps each student now to say, okay, if I want to focus more on the theoretical part, I go for CPT, as you explained, right?
Yes.
And if I want to be more environmental, I would then focus on going to Stellenbosch, which is great.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying this video. Just wanted to take 2 seconds to say thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. And if you do find value, if you do see the impact that these videos can create, do share it, do like, do subscribe. And if you're really feeling motivated, if you want to be part of this journey with us, consider donating. There's a link below. You can do a once-off commitment, or you can get in for the long haul and support us long term. Thank you so much for supporting us. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Then, with regards to um, the specific choosing of the course, right? We had a QA engineer previously, and we know when we speak about IT, these different categories of IT. So the brand probably would be IT, but there are different daughter categories under that. So is it the same with town planning, or can I go onto a university website and just click on town planning, or is there a different description for it?
Yes. I think when you go to, or when you're applying, if I'm understanding the question correctly, when you're applying to do it, or to study it, it will just say town planning, right? And you click into that, and then in that 4 year, you can really see how in depth town planning is. But after you're doing your post grad, then you start to say, okay, right, where do I want to go into? And sometimes the student will do the 4 year within CPUT. Afterwards, they will say, okay, right, I'm more environmental. So I will go to Stellenbosch, for example. I'm not in law, per se, or they will go to UCT. So that that is the play, and it's all about knowing yourself. Because I know I made this a how can I say, a tagline to myself, or statement to myself, that I'm a political planner. Not to say I'm politically inclined or politician, but just to say that when you start to see how development start to happen within your city, you start to see that your mayor and your MACO members is doing the approvals, right? And it's not coming from myself, but we read a lot of academy professors. They would say plan is very political, because once you start to do like a tier that you want to do, is say to identify a certain a land parcel, and then you want to do development on the, you have to look at all the other procedures that goes along with it. And so when it's politically, when I say politically, or planning is politically, um, once you do or try to develop something, then you have a public that needs to do also have their comment as well. And if the public is not in it, and it becomes politically inclined, for example, we'll see all over the news like, this group is getting houses, but not that group is getting houses, and now it's become a political thing. So now you have your ward councillor step in, you have your maker that steps in, then you have your mayor that has the final say to it. And sometimes the development is so great that you even looking at your national level of government, for example, your ports, that's nationally driven, that's nationally managed. If you look at your Table Mountain, for example, as a city, it's national. Yeah, so even sometimes you see a fire on a mountain, for example, you will see that is a national, what they say, national fire thing, whatever, on a helicopter. But yeah, sometimes the city do gets involved in terms of if they need it. But yeah, that's how you look at
I was
things.
laughing because I was thinking that I don't know if you know the song as a child. We used to sing, "There's a fire on the mountain, run, run, run."
Yes, yes, yes.
So we used to sing that song as a kid. But what I actually wanted to say was thank you for that, because as like as a mere civilian, if I could call myself that, I did not actually even know that. You know, when you don't really read up on bylaws, as you say that you've done, and read up on other academia, like other research proposals and things like that, you don't have all that information as a normal person that is not necessarily interested in that. So that's actually good to know that there are national, there are people that make decisions on a national level, and then there's also provincial, which is mind blowing. But to keep on track, what initially inspired you to choose town planning as a career?
Sure.
Let's
That is a question, and I think I need a much more time, eh? And I think I need to explain this. I have an analytical brain. I That's me. At the early age of living, if that's a statement, or I always do think different. A lot of people say, you know what, no, you're thinking different, you're thinking, but I never confine myself in thinking in a box. I always think big. And I believe God has given me that gifting. So in my early age, I wanted to become a architecture, because I love design. I love the way how things look. But then I didn't look at the final. Oh, I love the final detail, but after a while, I was like, wow, why are we stressing about the final detail? It must be to the point, um and for example, like the studio, there's certain places where you put the plant and stuff like at a table. Then I job shadowed at my early age. I looked at that. I said, no, I can't. I won't be able to do this. And then I wanted to become a civil engineer, which I was on site at my early age. I won't mention the company, but I did wonderful projects. I was one of the, yeah, those roads. Worked on the N1, third lane in 2016, 2017. Right. It was one of the big projects. I worked on Dukai State as well. And I worked also on the road of, it's called Link Road between the Hive and Town Center in Mitchell's Plain. But then I was on site 24/7, if that's, yeah, on site every day, whether it's summer or winter. Then I couldn't handle that, you know. I love the site work, but I couldn't just, then I was like, I was one day, I remember I was on site on the N1 project, and I was I can't almost come to the name now, where we broke down the bridge. But I was standing there and I told myself, but who gives the approval? Who decides on extending the lane? And then I heard it was maybe transport sector, whatever. Then I found out about town planning, and at the time, my mom had a colleague, and my mom said chat to her about town planning. Yeah, my mom's colleague told my mom about town planning. Like, your son can do this because from what you are saying, things like that. And then I do the town planning, which is one of the things. So remember, I always think big, but I can also, I'm very good in management. And so with town planning, you have a lot of things that's working at a similar time. So you need to think about everything correlating to one. And so that for me was like, oh, that's how the city is running, for example. But yeah,
So you are literally living the dream in your job right now. And
yes,
that's amazing, because I know a lot of us used to be able to not be able to say that, like, I'm doing the job that is my passion. So that's actually a great thing that you knew from the get-go that is something that you wanted to do.
yes,
And you said something earlier on where you said, you knew, or you said that you were reading up on Palos, and then you all of a sudden knew what sector of town planning you wanted to do, which is great, because at the end of the day, you didn't have to knock your head against a couple of bricks before you got to the point. So just wanted to add that in. But furthermore, looking back, do you still find joy and fulfillment in the choice that you made? Or are you changing? Are you shifting as you're learning?
no, I don't think I will leave this town planning. It's one of the joys that I have. Um, just looking back, like you were mentioning, I was speaking as a few seconds ago. Um, like dealing with the IDP, your integrated development plan, right? You don't know.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know what that is, but okay, go ahead.
And then you deal with the SDF, your spatial development framework, right? That is your guide in terms of how the city is running. And just to, by the way, like, you have a metro, which is city of Cape Town, then you have Stellenbosch municipality, then you have Drakensberg municipality, right? That's your surroundings, and then the province is also made out of a lot of municipalities. But just to see the growth, and one of the privileges that we are standing at, like, city of Cape Town is the fastest city, the fastest growing city within South Africa. If you look at South Africa, and you look at Africa as well, you're looking at your international tourists that's coming in. You start to see media of celebrities is starting to notice Cape Town. So you're having all of that in international attention as well. So living this is like a dream,
Lovely.
And just to see my other colleagues as well in the different departments, different directorates, the way they're planning to make the city grow. it is like, it's amazing. So yeah, I don't think I will leave this industry for quite some time. But yeah, there's always a way. I just skin. I almost come to say now, but yeah, I think you know what. I think you know what I'm trying to say, but yeah.
I get you. I get you. That's awesome. Like it's really amazing to know. That's why I say, like, I think it's an underrated blessing to know what your passion is and to actually be living it. So last but not very much least, since you have so much passion, is there any words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our viewers that have to make this decision of choosing a career?
Yes. Um, and I have two parts to this question, but just know yourself. Don't run after the money. Money comes, money goes. I was also working for an international day trading company where I could have made a lot of money. But at the end of the day, it's what you love. Um, and with that comes with two sayings. Um, um, yeah, the answer is always no if you don't ask, right? And closed mouths don't get fed. Like if you don't ask questions, and a lot of you say, but no, there's not an opportunity for me. Like, so what? So what are you gonna do? Create an opportunity. Nothing comes easy in life. Whether you want to do a whatever you want to do, and you say, but I don't have a family member in doing this. There is your teacher, for example. There is your ward counselor. They're supposed to guide you and connect you with the right people. Right? That is why education is so important, because you must ask, and a lot of youngsters wants to get paid for doing some work, but like volunteer, volunteer, like just give me like 3 day a 3 day job shadowing, yeah, at the company that you want to work for, whether you want to become a doctor, whether you want to become a nurse. Just be around those people and identify, is this for me, or is this not for me. And remember, I wanted to become an architect, civil engineer. I was yeah, like I said, I was also international day training coach. Now I'm in town planning. It's what I love. It's never too hard for me to not read, whether it's the Constitution of South Africa. It's what we love,
Yeah.
and I think the people in this room, for the viewers, they can't see, I tell them, listen, this is how we're going, but they don't know, I'm not gonna look now.
You call it now.
But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us for a session, and you viewers as well. Thank you so much. I just want to reiterate something that our Mr. Clayton said here actually. The answer is always no if you don't ask. With that being said, that's the end of our session. Thank you. If you found this content valuable, you are more than welcome to give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on TikTok as well as Instagram, where we share some more interesting content about career planning and beyond. Thank you for joining me with the Success in Color podcast. My name is Mishay, your host. Bye for now.